Hey, this is Neil. I'm going to show you how to assemble your terror truck if you order the terror truck kit. So let's get started here. The truck comes, it's 32 total different pieces. Okay, most of them are 3D printed. There are some that are not, such as the bearings, the bra on the front of it, of course the little plaque here. But everything else is 3D printed in the colors that the truck was, you know, like the flat gray, red cans, the silver lights. And the only thing that comes fully painted is the little skin and bone saw, and that only comes painted if you order the assembled truck. Same as the bra, it only comes painted if you order the assembled truck. If you order it as a kit and your kit arrives just like this, those two parts will not be painted. But everything else, the gas cans will be red because they're printed in red filament, black, you know. So for the most part, this is how your kit will come. You're also going to need, I suggest getting this. This is called Bob Smith Industries. These packages of glue and activator, accelerator are sold on Amazon. It's like $7 or $8. I suggest using this glue only. I don't suggest using testers or any kind of other super glue. You're going to want this, and you're going to see why here in a little bit. If you've never been around this, it's pretty neat stuff. The only other thing you might need is a set of big tweezers. That's mainly for the smaller lights that are difficult to handle if you have big fingers like me, or my fingers are dumb, they won't hold on to anything for very long, so tweezers work best. But hey, let's get started putting this together. I'll show you how to assemble it. Okay, you can kind of start anywhere, but like I said, this is how I assemble them, and I found it's the easiest way. I start out with my tires. These tires are actually 3D printed. They are rubber. They do have a little bit of bounce and everything in them. Take your bearing. These are actually skateboard bearings. Push it down and seat it all the way into each one of the tires. Once you have those set on, take one of your axles. There's two axles. All you do is push them into the bearing, and you'll hear it click. You might have to do like I just did there and pull that tire off of the bearing. Sometimes it makes it easier. And then you can pull the tire back over the bearing. Now, when you assemble your tires, you're going to want to make sure that your tread pattern, if it'll focus there. Come on. Well, it's not going to focus. You want your tread pattern facing the same way. You don't want to get one tire backwards, because then your truck will just kind of look silly. Again, you might take just your tire, insert it first, and then put your bearing on, push it down, and then you can pull your tires back out. Once your bearings are on there, you take your wheels, push them in there, and that kind of keeps it from the tire from sliding back like this off of the bearing onto the axle part. You can, if you choose to, I don't, but if you choose to, you can glue these wheels onto the tire, and that will really keep everything secure. But again, I choose not to, just in case, you know, something does get kind of sideways or wobbly. You can always go back and fix it. If you glue it on and you get it crooked or something, well, then you're kind of stuck with that. There's one axle. Make sure the bearings are on there good. Pull the tires back out, put the wheels in. You might not push them all the way back against the bearing because it will rub against that little clip on the axle and it might free them up. So you can pull it out to where it's got some wheels, a little bit of spin like that. Alright, there's your tires, wheels, and axle assembly. Next we're going to put the body, both the cab and the bed onto the frame. This is your frame. As you can see, there's 4 raised places in the back. That's to hold the bed. On the bottom of your bed, you'll see 4 little squares, and that's where this clips into. This part back here, there's got the very back 2 little squares. That's the back of the frame. So you want the back of the bed pointing that way as well. Now these are spaced to where it kind of clicks in, to where it'll hold it in place for you to glue. But you're going to want to glue it. The friction on the bed to the axle won't be enough to hold it in place forever. So here's where you glue. You take your MaxiCure Bob Smith glue, put some in each one of these 4 squares. And you can almost just fill up that little square. Insert your frame into it. Now this is your Instaset accelerator for your glue. What you do is you just spray this on, and that instantly cures your glue. See? This is why this stuff is so much better than super glue that you got to let sit, take anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour to set up. So this stuff is awesome. That's why I recommend it, and it's strong. Okay, once you have your bed on the frame, your body, you see there's on the back there's 2 notches, and on the front there's 2 notches there. That's where the frame will sit inside of this cab. So test fit, always test fit everything before you glue it down. Test fit, make sure this all going to fit. Yep, it's all going to fit just like that. Then again, take your glue, put it in your 4 spaces onto the cab. And then go ahead, once you're happy with it, spray it. Just set for about 2-3 seconds and you're good. Okay, there is your body on the frame ready to go. Okay, now you want to take one of your axles, the axle assemblies, and you're going to want to line them up with your body. Okay, now on your frame there are 4 cross members. The farthest one in the front, the farthest one in the back, those 2 are the ones that you line up your axle with. It'll pretty much be in the middle, but you want to test fit everything. So just hold it up there. See, what you're concentrating on is getting both side to side, so you have the equal amount of tire sticking out from your body on either side. See this way? And then also you want to concentrate on here when your axle is glued down to make sure that your tires will still spin. Okay, there's nothing to really hold it in place. It's just more or less you looking at it to get used to, or to get kind of a mental picture of where it needs to sit. Okay, once you're satisfied with that, it's easiest if you just set your cab like that, put some glue across this front cross member. You're going to want to use quite a bit of glue here because there's a lot of stress on this. When you put your tires on, Remember your tread pattern, okay? You want to keep them facing the right way. It might be easier to pick it up and take a gander at it. Happy side to side. I'm going to hold it in the middle here. Oh yeah, I'm perfect there. So go ahead. I'm going to spray it and set it. There's my front axle. Let me zoom this camera out a little bit so I'll be sure to capture all this. I apologize if you can't tell what's going on, but this will give you pretty much the gist of it. On your back one, again, you want your tread pattern facing the right way. And what side that I recommend on the axle doesn't really matter. There's one side that's kind of shiny, one side that's not. I would prefer to put it down on the side that's not, just because it's a little bit more raised. Now, if one thing I'll mention here, your accelerator, if you get kind of crazy and it gets everywhere, well, anytime you put glue down on top of that accelerator, it's going to instantly set that glue. So you might, like over this, wipe it off, make sure that there's no accelerator on there, so when you do go to place your glue, it doesn't set up so quick. Give you time to kind of move this around and line it up. Again, check your side to side. Get a mental picture of where your tire should be, right in the middle of the wheel well. There's a lot more space in the back than there is in the front. When you're ready, throw you down some glue. Make sure we're going the right way here. Don't want tires on backwards. That'll look silly. There we go. There we go. At this point, I usually put the bumpers on. The front bumper has got 3 bars. The back bumper has 2. These, on the body, on the front, on the cab, you can see there's a couple notches underneath the headlights right there. Your bumper also has some notches. They just kind of slide right up and fit into there. Okay, it's not, like I said, it's not going to snap into place. It's not a snap together model. It's a glue model. But you're going to want to test fit it. Go ahead and drop you some glue down. There's the front bumper done. The rear bumper, my camera will focus here. There's 2 tabs on either side. On the bar that the tabs are on, this is your top bar, okay? The one that's hanging down is the bottom, so just kind of think of it that there's nothing really sticking up, it's always hanging down. Those 2 tabs just go in between the rails underneath on the bed. Again, test fit. Once you're happy, go ahead and put some glue on the inside of there, on either side. Sounds like it just started raining. So I apologize about any noise. You may hear it in the background. And there's your bumpers. Next up, I do the gas cans. Okay, these pretty much will only go one way. The way that it's designed, I don't know if you can see in there, but I actually cut out an area for these cans to fit right in, and it actually has part of that little X that's in the can. The cans face forward, the spout face forward. There's really no test fitting at this point. It's more or less just throw you a bunch of glue down. And set the can in. You might have to spray it at a weird angle to get the accelerator to hit the glue. There's one side. There's the other side. Now, if you've never been around 3D printed parts, like right there, that little gas can, the very top part broke off just because it's so small. So any little parts like that are broke, just take your glue, set it down, and that'll stiffen those up. Say some of them might be damaged in shipping between you and me. I won't ship anything that is broke already, but like I said, in shipping it might get kind of messed up. But there's most of the accessories. Right now we're going to move on to the lights. We'll set the truck aside. You got 4 individual light buckets. You got 4 individual silver light, what I call lenses. It just kind of makes these a little bit larger. You have 2 square silver lights. These are the lights that are facing rearward on the roll bar. And then you have 2 red tail lights. The easiest way I have found to put these lights together is the little silver circles by themselves. Just drop you a little dot of glue on them. And then pick up the bucket and just drop it on there right in the center. Do that on all 4 of them. And then once you have all 4 done, I pick them up and look and make sure that that circle, the what I call the lens, is in line with the bucket on all 4 of them. And when it is, just line all these up kind of together. Just give one little spray and that'll set them in place. Now comes the fun part of putting them on the roll bar. You can do these with the roll bar off of the truck. I tend to like to put the roll bar on the truck, then apply the lights. The reason being is I'm kind of picky on the alignment. I want it to look like the truck from the film. So I put them on the truck with it lined up and everything. The roll bar, you can see there are raised places that the roll bar sit on in the bed. It's pretty simple. There's really not much alignment to do on this, but you know, if you want it exactly perfect, it kind of is anyway. But again, test fit everything. On the bottom of your roll bar, apply some glue. It might be considered a light bar, not a roll bar, but I'm not a technical guy. Once you're happy with the placement, a couple of quick squirts. Then we're going to take our lights. Now this is where it gets tricky because it's difficult to hold these without getting glue on your fingers and gluing them to your fingers. That's why tweezers come in handy. I begin by getting it set up by holding the light in the tweezers like this. So I know it's gripped good, I can move around. Now in the film, these top lights are almost lined up with the equal spacing as the headlights on the truck. So I do the same thing. I get my two outside set. Drop you a bit of glue on. You're going to want to spray these individually with your accelerator. Right when I got almost set, this light decided to jump out of my tweezers. Got a little glue on the tweezers because I tried to glue it to them. Okay, here's that part where I said make sure you know where your accelerator is at. The top of this roll bar is going to get pretty sprayed down with it, and the glue is going to set quick. Take your next light, put it in your tweezers, get you some glue. You know what, let's go over here. Let's put glue directly to the light housing and then drop it on. Like I said, this might go quick. Line it up, get it square. Again, these tweezers working great. Maybe I'm getting nervous and I'm squeezing too hard. Put me some more glue on there. And spray that, set it. There we go. Okay, now that my two outside ones are set, I apologize if I am not in frame here. Get your next light. Kind of look at the spacing, get a mental picture. Get your glue. Alright, there we go. There's the four lights facing forward. Just kind of dry this off a little bit so we can get our two little squares that point backwards. You can use some compressed air or just your air. Blow on it and dry that accelerator. These little silver ones are really tiny and a real pain in the butt. What I'm going to try to do is get them both on there before I spray the accelerator and set them both at once. And there's your roll bar lights. The brake lights, pretty simple. There's no real spacing or place on the body that specifies where to put these. It's kind of just wherever you decide to put them at. Tell you what, let me put this one on this side. Facing. The way it's facing might be a little bit easier. Got a lot of glue on there, but not stuck to the body. So let's put a little bit on there. There we go. Okay, the last thing to glue in is your skin and bone saw. You don't have to glue it in, but I like to. Again, if you're ordering a kit, this will not come painted, it'll come all black. This, for the most part, you can put anywhere you want. Face it any way. The only remaining part is the skin bra on the front. These are all, I actually make these on your specific hood so it'll fit perfect. And then I cut, and if you order a completed one, it comes painted. If you order the kit, it's just the raw latex that you will have to paint. And it's just it just sits on there. You can't glue it if you want. I tend to not. I tend to just leave it on there. If you want to get real specific, real detailed, you can run some string down to the bumper like they had from the film. But overall, there it is. A completed terror truck. You also receive, this is a stand for a laser cut and engraved little plate that I make with them. Just says Terror Truck by Chainsaw Graphics, custom 3D printed replica, 1958 Ford F-150 from the film Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre III. But there it is. It is a complete rolling scale model of the truck. I'm not positive of the scale, to be honest with you. I just made it a good scale that I thought would fit on people's shelves as a display and everything. But you know, like I said, it comes fully assembled like this in a box, or it comes as a kit.